Yeah, this has what I call the Michael Woodside syndrome, where it just straightens everything out. It's a cool pose, and it's a nice thing that you did with the balance. It's kind of the same thing we were talking about last week with the pit of the neck, point of the toe. You kind of did that. It's not bad at all. But I think it might just be because the scale of these things is different than his.
Yeah.
The butts are in the same spot, but his legs are a lot longer.
Right.
The knee up here. So I feel like he needs to do more of this pose, so he's not. Because this looks like a crazy run to catch a frisbee. This is more of like a dance. He's bent here, so this is more of a dance move, which is fine. If this is a crazy run or jump to catch a frisbee, then that's what should be. The leg. This leg. I should do this because this is a nightmare. This leg is more straight out. Like pushing off the ground. If that's not what you're doing, but we're at what you were doing. So instead, I would just maybe like bend him down more.
Mm-hmm.
And the foot's still there. Kind of the same thing. The hand is, the hand is more back that way, and it's down. Even this hand is kind of back and then rotated around that way. So it's like that. And then I think yours could stand to go a little farther.
Okay.
Just to help, not necessarily to match what he did, but what he did feels nice in that it's more turned away. It's not so flat to camera,
Okay.
Especially with hands, that's really noticeable. And then these fingers are kind of awesome. Like if you look at the angle of those fingers,
Okay.
This one is kind of like pointed in. I'm going to exaggerate for the sake of clarity. And then they start fanning the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this weird dragon claw thing. Amazing drawing. I'll just sign that for you for everyone. Yeah, just take that to the bank. Let's close this one. This is a good. It's kind of the same idea of pushing the angles.
Right.
Something about. I like this. I like whatever I'm doing. What have I done?
Uh-oh.
That's my fault. It's trying to load your movie file. There we go. Okay. Chill pose. I like this idea that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't, we already established she doesn't have the same hips
Yeah.
as normal. Is there any reason why you, like her hand is more back? Is there a reason why you brought it in?
That's one of the things I noticed when I was putting the images together. I'm like, oh crap, the hands towards a little forwards or instead of going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a easier sell to support her weight.
Uh-huh.
If it's forward, or sorry, if it's back.
Yeah.
And there's something else too with this space here in her neck.
Mm-hmm.
It's more relaxed, and then her head feels more like she's like she's I don't know what the expression is, but she's about to say like okay, like it's more awkward. So I think if you were to relax her neck a little bit, I think you have her neck going back. Probably, are you trying to sell like that kind of arc or something? Because this is more of like a settled, relaxed arc.
Mm-hmm.
Where when you break it here, it feels like it's more like there's tension there. So if
Right.
you just rotate the neck forward, and that might fix it. But if it doesn't, then you can just translate the head out, and then, you know,
Okay.
yeah, and then I'll give you more of a less of a I just farted. I hope nobody notices face. Um, cool. Is that all clear? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. I mean, talking about farting, I don't know how that couldn't be clear.
I wouldn't know either.
Any caveats?
Let's see. Well, it's still in its blocking stages. Having a bit of trouble while he's observing the ball. I don't know if it's like it's too quick of a thing,
Okay.
but yeah, that's my only observation right now.
Okay. That's so funny to me. I do like it better that he falls in his face now.
Yeah, it looks definitely better.
It's like a yeah. That's just because you see his what you've done with the ice here is awesome, and then there's one moment where he's like, no. One thing that you guys are doing by taking animation classes is ensuring that you're never going to really enjoy an animated film the same way that you ever have, because you study things on a frame-by-frame basis, and so you see the frames as you watch it, so you don't have to do this. I was watching the Lego Movie today, and there's just so much that you see, like something happened in one frame, but you don't know what it was, but you know it bothered you, and it doesn't even need part of the animation. Like it could just be like the scene got darker for one frame, and then it comes back. But it's something that my wife is always like, I don't know what are you talking about? And I'm always like pausing movies and going back to figure out what that frame was. But when it works, it's moments like that where you notice that he looks down.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's a good moment to justify the pain of. I don't know. There's something about the end about it, how he keeps slamming his face against the ground at the same rate, or like the same. It's like the same height and the same. Like it's almost like he's doing it on purpose. So.
Maybe just hold that pose a little bit more. Maybe that'll help. I'm not sure. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, maybe it's giving him more time to be still on the ground.
And
then, because you have the legs going immediately.
Right.
I think if you got rid of, actually, yeah, all this animation, just delete it all. It'll be easier for you. If 170, if you just make 170's frame the same as 141, and so the ball just rolls out, and then you just have one little lift after the ball's gone.
Okay.
So we're watching one thing at a time.
Right. Okay.
You can do little things. Like when he falls, you don't need to be like still. Like there can be like the wheels are doing that kind of overlapping thing when they hit the ground. But in terms of head motion and tail and all that stuff, eyebrows, I would just leave it flat.
Okay.
Let's look at that section you were talking about.
Yeah, that part right there.
So I think the stop is nice. Everything up to the stop is good.
Just that right there.
So it's this part right here that you're talking about?
A little bit forward. That.
Okay. All right, let's look at it. Yeah, I don't even think you need that pose. I would just take that pose out. Because the look around screen left, this is nice. Got a nice, I think you could even push the top of that to kind of line up with this. So this one's a little lower.
Okay.
Maybe. Or maybe this one would be higher so that this doesn't cut off the eye. You know?
Right.
Because if you brought that lower, it might like go in front of that. Just to clean, if you wanted to clean that up. It's not necessary, but I think it could make it nice. But yeah, if you just got rid of this pose here.
Okay.
And just brought all that time back. So just go straight from here to here.
Okay.
And then maybe instead of this pose, actually let's see what's after that. No, before, you want to keep this pose probably, but before the pose you have on 69, I think you can have another pose that's mostly this, but maybe his head is rotated up a little, like a tiny bit higher, but then he's like looking at the whole ball, you know, like that, and then higher, and then his head is maybe just like marginally higher, just barely.
Okay.
And then that you still have maybe as much time as you had before of the look around, but it's more contained. Watch it again, if you don't mind. So some of that timing of the jump seems even. Let's figure out why. I think you can really. It's one thing we were doing with the trolls in Frozen was really hanging at the top a lot, because it makes them feel a lot heavier when they come down so hard. So let me do what I was trying to do with the other shot and see if I can make it work here. In, out, copy, paste. In, out. Just adding a couple frames to the top up here.
Okay.
Too many. Yeah. So I just added 4 frames to the top. So what you can do is just find another pose in between these two poses. I think my timing is different than yours, so these frames over here are off. But something in between here, just even 50% in between there, so it's just him like gliding through the air evenly. And then have that on there for 4 frames. And I think that'll help give that jump a little more rise.
Okay.
So he jumps back, right? He's in the air. I think this pose at, I'm assuming it's 74. I changed the timing. I do all these things. 74 still. Probably should be lower because he's got to jump. He's got to get down to get up. He's got to get down to get up. Yeah, so he's a little lower there, and then I think in the next frame too, he's also should be lower than he is. Because the feet should reach their apex before the head does. So there should be like, well, what have I done? There should be like this kind of, that kind of motion here, and you're kind of missing that opportunity for at the top of the jump.
Okay.
So if you accent that earlier, then you'll get it. So lower at 74, lower at 76, and then where you have it at 79. The feet are kind of, yeah, and then you have to settle here. And wag. Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Those are the things. Do you have any questions?
I had some, but I forgot. I should have written them down.
Well, if you think about it, you type it out on the thing, and then we'll.
Yeah, I will do. Oh, should I keep blocking it out, or should I go to spline mode?
I would do those notes in step mode,
Okay.
and then pick a section to block out or to spline out. Maybe the beginning. Maybe spline out from 1 to 45.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I would rather you focus on doing the fixing notes than splining it.
Okay.
Hopefully those will make it easier to spline. But yeah, if you want to do the entrance in spline, then that's cool.
Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Renee.